Welcome back to Cut Above Tarot. How y'all doing? I'm just chilling outside, enjoying a nice windy night. It's not super windy, but the wind blows. I'm like, all of this beauty, this peace and quiet, opposed to hearing vehicles passing up and down the side of the road. And now get the opportunity to sit down and appreciate it. Y'all may see smoke keep passing by in front of the screen. That's because I got incense burning outside. Just letting you know. My plan was to make a little fire, which I still may do. But I'm just enjoying this evening. I got a little book over here I wanted to share with y'all. And it's about healing. It's a very small book. I bought this book, I think, let me think. I don't know. I'm going to say I bought this book. I think I bought it within the last 2 years. Don't hold me to that now. But it says here, cures. I think it says, I want to make sure I say it right, because I want to say all diseases, but I think it said most diseases. If y'all want to do some tarot readings, I'm available. But I want to talk about this book on healing. Now, there's a bunch of controversy pertaining to what I'm about to talk about. I don't know if it's because this truly works and they don't want the public to know, or did somebody have a bad experience because they didn't follow the directions as it was written, and so they ended up having some form of a adverse reaction. But I'm gonna grab this book. I'm gonna have to find another place where to put my incense. It's called The 1 Minute Cure. You can purchase this book if you like on Amazon. It says The Secret to Healing Virtually All Diseases. This book is by Madison Cavanaugh. Cavanaughh. Cavanaugh. It came with a little green sticker in there with the arrow on it to help you get right to it. And it's basically talking about using hydrogen peroxide. Let me see what it's all good for. I think I can just go to the glossary. It comes with 6 chapters in it. The book has about 114 pages. It is paperback. I'll give you a look at it so you can see what it looks like. And if you don't mind, I'm going to do some reading. You can call it story time if you want to, but I don't think this is story time. This is just some information that I'm doing here instead of over in the members section, as I normally do. So who's to say? I may take this video afterwards and put it over in the members section. But tonight, I am reading. It says the information you're about to read in this book will not only shock you, but also anger and excite you at the same time. It will shock you because the simple therapy presented herein may be the closest thing to a panacea that you've ever encountered. And yet it has been deliberately suppressed by those who care less about protecting people's health than they do about their own financial interests. It will make you angry because you might have relatives, friends, and loved ones who have suffered unnecessarily from preventable diseases or even died. Because this information has not been disseminated as vigilantly as it should have been. And lastly, it will excite you because the simple therapy, which is the subject of this book, may well be what its supporters call the world's greatest healing miracle of all time. If you are like most people, you probably find it hard to believe that any single therapy, substance, or element could have such a far reaching and broad spectrum of efficacy when it comes to curing diseases. You have every reason to be skeptical. You might be thinking, how could anything so simple actually be the answer to all our complex health problems? But the fact is, simple concepts are often the most powerful ones and yet usually the most ignored. This is particularly true in the healthcare field. Over the last 7 centuries, we as a society have been programmed to regard the curing or healing of disease as a perplexing and complicated science that is best left in the hands of medical practitioners. As a result, we've come to rely almost exclusively on the information that is dispensed to us by doctors and healthcare providers, who are themselves usually uninformed about alternative healing options that may be better for treating diseases than the standard medical treatments consisting of drugs, surgery, radiation, or other therapies. What you're about to learn from this book is a simple, inexpensive therapy that can be self-administered at home in less than a minute and costs about 1.5 cents per day. An estimated 15,000 European medical doctors, naturopaths, and homeopaths have provided this powerful therapy to over 10 million people over the past 70 years to treat over 50 different diseases. But in the U.S., it has been relatively unknown because of reasons that will become clear as you read the rest of this book. Now, before I reveal what that therapy is, it is necessary to present an abbreviated history of medicine and how it evolves into the overcomplicated complex system of healing that is practiced today. From this condensed retelling of events, one can glean that the process of curing diseases does not have to be expensive and often invasive procedures. It presently, it presently is. There is an easier, more organic, and far more effective approach to curing diseases and maintaining good health, one that has been obscured by the highly complex science and business of medicine and pharmaceuticals. Ever since the dawn of medicine centuries ago, misinformation about healing has been propagated to the public through various methods. The earliest method used, especially during the Black Death in the 14th and 15th centuries, was the traditional authority approach to science and medicine. This consisted of the idea that if a prominent person declared something to be true, then it must be so, and anything observed to the contrary was regarded as an anomaly. Centuries later, physicians like Ibn al-Nafis, regarded as the greatest physiologist of the Middle Ages, and Vesalius, founder of modern human anatomy, replaced previous doctrine and discredited many of the theories of traditional authorities with doctrines derived from their explorations in physiology and anatomy. Fast forward to the 20th century. Evidence-based medicine began to emerge, wherein the most effective ways of doing things, also called algorithms, of practice or best practice were identified through scientific methods and modern global information science. The evidence was collated, standard protocols were developed, and thereafter disseminated to doctors and healthcare providers. The problem with this best practice approach is that it served to suppress all other alternative approaches to treatment. Furthermore, the scientific methods used in drawing conclusions, although seemingly logical and unbiased, therefore reliable, were actually flawed. All scientific experimentation is subject to confirmation bias or the observer expectancy effect to a certain extent. Confirmation bias is an unfair influence found in scientific research when a researcher expects a given result and therefore unconsciously manipulates an experiment in order to find that result. A researcher's particular ideology, worldview, superstition, traditions, or religion can cause him or her to assign greater weight to some data over other data. The human brain has a tendency to fill in the gaps of what it perceives, and oftentimes, a researcher may also be stubborn, unwilling to admit a mistake, or embarrassed by having to withdraw a publicly declared belief. Thus, any conclusions derived from scientific studies or clinical studies are rarely unbiased, and thus cannot always be regarded as reliable. At present, there exists a confusing array of so-called best practices for every part of the anatomy, all tainted with bias to one degree or another. This has made the curing of diseases seem like a complex and mysterious science with its own language that is beyond the understanding of the non-medical population, like the scriptural Tower of Babel that brought about a confusion of tongues. What complicates the matter is that the field of medicine has given rise to a slew of organ-based specializations such as neurology, cardiology, dermatology, ophthalmology, urology, gynecology, endocrinology, etc., as well as disease-based specializations such as oncology for cancer, gerontology for diseases of the aging, that each have their respective modes of treatment and therapy. The end result? A medical model not unlike the legend from India about the six blind men who encountered the elephant. So, let's talk about this elephant. There once were six blind men who, upon encountering an elephant, gave their own individual assessments of the elephant. The first one happened to fall against the broad and sturdy side of the elephant and concluded that the elephant is very much like a wall. The second one, feeling the tusk, said the elephant was very much like a spear. The third one happened to take the squirming trunk of his in his hand and said the elephant was very much like a snake. The fourth one reached out and touched the elephant's knee and concluded that the elephant is very much like a tree. The fifth one happened to touch the ear and insisted that the elephant is very much like a fan. And the sixth one seized the swinging tail and said the elephant is very much like a rope. Each of the blind men was partly right based on their own subject perception, but at the same time mostly wrong. The comical part of it all is that their dispute stemmed from utter ignorance because none had ever seen the elephant. Hmm. No. The field of medicine, with its compartmentalized theory about what causes disease and how to eradicate it from the human body, actually perceives only a small snapshot of the larger picture, a localized subset of the larger workings of the human body. One would think that because the medical and pharmaceutical industries have grown as large as they have, that we would have less sick people in the world. But the opposite is actually true. There are more sick people in the U.S., for instance, than at any other time in history, not just in actual numbers, but as a percentage of the population. This in no way is intended to discredit doctors, medical practitioners, and institutions that have genuinely good intentions to help to heal people and eradicate disease. It simply points to an ineffective medical system that is focused on illness rather than wellness, that promotes expensive, i.e., profit-driven, invasive, and potentially dangerous or even deadly medical procedures, drugs, or treatments rather than simple, natural, inexpensive, effective treatments or therapies that have no side effects. Now, there is a Chinese proverb which says, the superior doctor prevents illness. The mediocre doctor attends to impending sickness. The inferior doctor treats actual illness. According to the above definition, traditional allopathic doctors are either mediocre or inferior. However, they are so not necessarily because of their mediocre or inferior dedication to the healing profession, but because all 126 medical schools that provide conventional medical education and trainers focus on treating actual or impending diseases rather than preventing them. While the majority of drugs prescribed by doctors may seem to provide relief or so-called cure for the disease, most of them simply relieve symptoms or the pain associated with the disease but don't cure the disease. For an example, the most popular asthma medication consisting of inhaled beta agonists, which relax airway muscles, may help asthma sufferers to breathe easier, but they do not cure the condition nor reduce the inflammation in the airways. The drugs that do claim to cure an illness by halting the spread of invading germs, such as bacteria and viruses, and by killing cells as they divide or preventing them from multiplying, do so, but not without harming the body to some extent. Practically, all drugs have side effects. That is, they cause effects, including adverse and serious effects, other than those that are desired. Sometimes drugs provide relief for one health problem, but in the process give rise to even more serious health problems. So, we take drugs that relieve the symptoms of osteoporosis and in turn acquire a high risk of breast cancer. And we trade impotence for heart disease or depression for diabetes and take a pill for arthritis at the risk of getting a heart attack. There are even drugs that are designed primarily to alleviate one side effects caused by other drugs or medical treatments. And that's only touching on the side effects of drugs. There are also side effects and serious health consequences that come with medical treatments like surgery, radiation, or chemotherapy, for example. And even diagnostic procedures like x-rays, mammograms, and MRIs have their own attendant risks and side effects. Case in point. Ever since mammograms were introduced to the incidence of ductal carcinoma in situ, DCIS, a type of breast cancer, has increased by 328%. At least 200% of this increase is attributed to the harmful radiation of mammograms. Furthermore, mammograms are also thought to help spread existing cancer cells due to the considerable pressure placed on the breast during the procedure. When you consider the prevailing conditions that exist in the medical industry, you begin to see that your best interests are not served by relinquishing total control of your health to doctors, medical establishments, or pharmaceutical industries. What this means to you is that you must not blindly accept medical advice as the best cure of action for your health. Neither should you be deceived by the multi-million dollar advertising campaigns of the pharmaceutical companies that promote medicines that do not cure and often harm. The most essential element of the human body. In order to dismantle the complex healing modalities that the medical and pharmaceutical industries have created and discover the path to true healing, one needs to take a closer look at the core of human existence. The human body is composed of 70 to 80% water, and water is 89% oxygen by weight. Therefore, oxygen comprises 62% to 71% of body, and it is body most abundant and essential element. 90% of all of our biological energy comes from oxygen. It is the essential element that the human body needs in order to not only survive, but also have optimum levels of energy, function properly, and become more productive. Consider, for instance, that humans can survive for weeks and even months without food and live for many days without water, but we cannot survive more than a few minutes without oxygen. It is surprising, therefore, that people find it hard to believe that the very element which is required by all humans in order to live is also a secret to keeping us disease free. Medical professionals in particular, would find the notion of curing virtually all diseases with oxygen rather than simplistic or even lacking merit. The curious thing is that oxygen is already used in medicine. Oxygen supplementation has been used to erase health conditions such as emphysema and pneumonia that impairs the body's ability to have a sufficient intake of gaseous oxygen. Hyperbaric, high pressure, oxygen has been used to treat carbon monoxide poisoning, gas, gangrene, and decompression sickness. Oxygen has also been used for life support situations and on patients who require mechanical ventilation. Patients on their deathbed who are given extra doses of oxygen are often kept alive long after they would otherwise have died. However, because oxygen has seldom been used in the medical setting as a first line of defense for preventing, let alone curing diseases, it has never been accorded its rightful place as the cure for virtually all diseases. The world of science and medicine has always known that oxygen is the basis of human life, without which humans die. This fundamental truth has become so overlaid with centuries worth of extraneous matters that its essence has become completely obscured by the Tower of Babel created by the field of medicine. This book will provide solid proof that primary physical causes of all diseases is linked in one way or another to oxygen deficiency. In fact, many of the elaborate and expensive therapies offered by organized medicine take advantage of oxygen effect on diseased cells. Most conventional cancer therapies, for instance, including chemotherapy and radiation therapy, produce oxygen activated events that kill cancer cells. Another new cancer drug, verteporfin, increases the amount of oxygen within the cancerous tumors, and this kills tumors more effectively than radiation alone. Interferon drugs, which are vastly prescribed for the treatment of multiple sclerosis, owe their efficacy to the fact that they raise the body's oxygen level. One could draw the conclusion that many drugs basically work on the same principle of oxygenation described in this book, but those drugs cost tens and thousands times more than the pennies a day self-administered therapy I present herein. Furthermore, the therapy I present does not come with any of the adverse effects typically associated with toxic drugs and other radical medical therapies. In the following chapters, you will discover how dozens of AIDS patients have reversed their death sentence and are now living normal lives as a result of the little known therapy involving oxygen. How all diseases causing microorganisms, viruses, bacteria, toxins, and pathogens are eradicated in the presence of sufficient amount of oxygen in the blood and cells. How a great number of diseases ranging from colds and the common flu to malaria and cholera have been cured as far back as 170 years ago in India using this same therapy. While the handful of U.S. doctors who employ this therapy to cure a wide variety of so-called incurable diseases or endorse the therapy in any way come under heavy attack by the medical establishment, and they are threatened with the revocation of their medical license. And how you can oxygenate your body using a remarkable simple procedure without the aid of a doctor and duplicate the spectacular healing results of institutional oxygen therapy at home in 1 minute or less. Although the fundamental concepts behind 1 minute oxygen therapy is based on a century old truth, it has just been rediscovered and repurposed for use in today's world. As with any newly discovered truth, it must necessarily pass through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Then it is violently opposed. Finally, it is accepted as self-evident. The truth contained in this book is already self-evident to people in many parts of the world. Many people have awakened to the fact that a simple at-home procedure involving oxygenating substance represents the cutting edge of a new healing paradigm. As more people discover this safe, effective, natural, and low-cost healing modality for treating both minor health problems as well as most devastating diseases facing mankind today, including AIDS, cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's disease, it may not only improve the quality of people's lives, but also help to solve our national health care crisis. I've written this book in hopes that this therapy will become accepted by more doctors, not only in the U.S., but all over the world, and that it will become a valuable part of mainstream medical practice. It is also my vision that more people will take control of their own health and healing by using this therapy, and that we will finally have a world free of virtually all diseases. And it is signed by Madison Cavanaugh. That is fine. All right, so let's get right on down to the nitty gritty. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. All right. So, how do y'all feel about this? All right. So, these are the diseases and ailments that they say can be cured: AIDS, acne, allergies, altitude sickness, Alzheimer's disease, anemia, angina, angina, arrhythmia, arteriosclerosis, arthritis, asthma, bacterial infection, bronchitis, burns, cancer, candiditis, I messed that up, cardiovascular disease, cerebral vascular disease, cholesterol, high cholesterol, chronic pain, cirrhosis of the liver, cluster headaches, colitis, COPD, cystitis, type 2 diabetes, diabetic gangrene, diabetic rhino, rhinopathy, digestion problems, eczema, emphysema, Epstein-Barr infection, food allergies, fungal infection, fungus, gangrene, gingivitis, gum disease, headaches, hepatitis, herpes, herpes simplex, herpes zoster, HIV infection, influenza, insect bites, leg ulcers, leukemia, lupus, lymphoma, lupus erythematosus, uh, metastatic carcinoma, migraine headaches, mononucleus, multiple sclerosis, open sores and wounds, parasite infections, Parkinson's disease, periodontal disease, proctitis, prostatitis, rheumatoid arthritis, shingles, sinusitis, sore throat, temporal arteritis, trichomonas, ulcers, vascular disease, vascular headaches, viral infection, warts, yeast infections. Okay, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. All right, and these other words I really can't say them. So if I start pronouncing them, I may not say them correctly. Hello, Phoenix Rising. It's good to see you, girlfriend. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to just, I'm skipping now because I've read you the first part to get you interested because I wanted you to know for yourself, okay, what they're saying. Now, here we go. I'm going to, all right, so, so let's start here. I'm going to start with ozone and hydrogen peroxide. All right. Ozone therapy has been used with great success for a variety of diseases, including AIDS. German doctors such as Dr. Horst Kief, Dr. S. Reiling, and Dr. Rene, I'm going to mess his name up, Eifenstein, has successfully treated and cured a number of AIDS patients. Several dozen AIDS patients have reversed their death sentence thanks to the work of these doctors. One physician from Stuttgart, Dr. Alexander Priscus, made his notes about the use of ozone therapy to treat AIDS, widely available, and the results have been promising. Since Dr. Priscus made it a policy never to turn away any patients who sought ozone therapy for the treatment of AIDS, nor did he utilize any form of clinical protocol that would have rendered his findings as acceptable to the medical establishment as a clinical study. His case histories are deemed anecdotal and therefore not accepted as medical proof that the therapy is effective. However, it is undeniable that Dr. Presses has successfully used ozone therapy to cure at least 10 people of AIDS, which previously had been an incurable disease. In 1980, a number of American doctors began experimenting with blood infusions of ozone to treat a variety of diseases. The Medizone Company in New York obtained permission from the FDA in 1986 to carry out experiments involving ozone therapy. The therapy involved the infusion of ozone, for example, O3, a supercharged three atom form of oxygen, into the blood of AIDS patients. The results were amazing. The AIDS virus was completely destroyed in vitro with no level of toxicity. The company was in the process of receiving permission from the FDA to start human testing in 1987, but the FDA suddenly stalled the process. The exact reason for the delay is unknown, but there are a variety of theories. One is that Burroughs Wellcome Company, the pharmaceutical company, which had filed a patent on AZT, the first drug to use against HIV and AIDS in 1985, had campaigned against the Medizone human trials because AZT was about to be approved for distribution in 1987. The official reason given by the FDA for stalling the Medizone trials is that further testing needs to be carried out before human testing could begin. Whatever the true reason may be, the stall kept the general public unaware of the safe, effective, and inexpensive treatment possibilities offered by ozone. Unlike AIDS drugs like AZT, which burden the liver and immune system with toxic substance, ozone overcomes the AIDS virus by simply oxidizing the molecules in the shell of the virus. When the ozone molecules dissolve into the blood, they release their third oxygen atom, thereby causing blood thereby causing hyperoxygenation that destroys all viruses and diseases, microorganisms, while leaving normal cells unharmed. Today, it is possible to receive ozone therapy through blood infusions at selected doctor offices. While most traditional doctors have not yet begun offering this therapy, it is not difficult to find a list of enlightened medical practitioner clinics and hospitals that offer ozone therapy. Just do a search on any internet search engine using ozone therapy, as well as your city or country as keywords. There is also a foundation called the International Oxidative Medicine Foundation, which can provide a list of physicians trained and experienced in the practice of biooxidative therapies. The contact information is as follows: International Biooxidative Medicine Foundation, P.O. Box 61767, Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas 75261. Blood infusion of ozone is a surprisingly simple procedure. It entails drawing a pint of blood from the patient and introducing specific amounts of ozone into the blood through a wire cord carrying 300-volt charge. As the ozone is absorbed by the blood, the extra oxygen atoms are released into the blood, thereby creating a flood of oxygen. The blood then turns to a vivid red, which signifies healthy, oxygen cleansed blood, and consequently diseased microorganisms are destroyed. The oxygenated blood is thereafter infused back into the patient, and as the oxygen strengthened blood disperses, it confers some of its virucidal, I messed that word up, virucidal properties to the rest of the patient's blood, thereby destroying the disease microorganisms in its entire body. The procedure can be done as often as needed depending on the severity of the patient's disease. It can be used once a day, once a week, or as determined by the physician dispensing the therapy. Ozone therapy through blood infusion has been proven to successfully treat at least the following 33 major diseases. Following is a partial list: AIDS, colitis, leukemia, Alzheimer's, cholesterol high, leg ulcers, arteriosclerosis, cystitis, mononucleosis, arthritis, eczema, multiple sclerosis, acne, fungus, open sores and wounds, burns, gangrene, Parkinson's disease, cancer, gum disease, uh, proctitis, cardiovascular disease, hepatitis, prostate, candiditis, herpes, trichomonas, cirrhosis of the liver, lymphomas, yeast and fungal infections. People have found that they remain disease-free after completing the treatments, as long as they commit to the healthier diet exercise. Another alternative to using ozone without the necessity of blood infusion or without having to seek physicians who administer ozone infusion is drinking ozonated, ozonated water. Ozonated water, which is simply water that has been infused with ozone by way of ozonator and ozonator, is an effective way of oxygenating the body and accelerating the healing process. Over 100 years ago, ozone was first used to purify drinking water in Europe. Its unique characteristics made it ideally suited for water purification, and it assures you of the cleanest and safest drinking water because it eliminates 99.99% of bacteria and viruses in the water. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, even states that ozone is a water treatment that protects people from E. coli. Water ozonation is also used by various metropolitan water districts to improve the quality and taste of drinking water. Major water bottling companies utilize it for sterilization, and the food industry uses it to clean food prior to distribution. In addition to ozone being the only natural water purification solution, research shows that drinking ozonated water has contributed significantly to the healing of carcinoma, ulcers, gum disease, allergies, colds, flus, thrush, gastritis, cold sores, yeast infections, circulatory problems, dental infection, headaches, and a host of other ailments. Drinking 6 to 8 glasses of ozonated water daily establishes a high level of oxygenation in the body, facilitates detoxification, and accelerates the healing process. There are many inexpensive ozonators on the market that you can find by doing an internet search with the key phrase water ozonator. While ozone administration by way of blood infusions or drinking ozonated water are simple protocols for fighting disease, by far the simplest and equally valuable and effective way to oxygenate the body is by way of hydrogen peroxide administration. In the chapter that follows, you will learn more about discovering surroundings and therapeutic use of hydrogen peroxide, as well as how you can use it at home to prevent and cure a wide variety of diseases and ailments. hmm So in chapter 3, and I'm just going to read the first page, okay, because it's like a list of some things that you can use. They're saying that it says that it reverses everyday brain damage. Yeah, we need to see that one. Okay, so now y'all know I'm not going to read the whole book, but I'm going to try to get to the key points, okay? All right, you may want to go to Amazon, but it says you can purchase an ozonator, and it's fairly reasonable. Here we go. The simplest form of oxygen therapy involves the use of hydrogen peroxide because it is not only effective but also easy enough for anyone to administer at home at a very low cost. Over the past 70 years, approximately 15,000 medical doctors, okay, I'm messing that word up, naturopaths, and homeopaths in Europe have prescribed hydrogen peroxide to over 10 million people to treat over 50 different diseases. Hydrogen peroxide therapy works in the same manner as ozone therapy. It gives the body a high concentration of oxygen so that diseased cell dies and the normal cells are revitalized. Since hydrogen peroxide H2O2 is simply water with one extra oxygen atom, when hydrogen peroxide is absorbed by the body, it does the same thing ozone does with its extra oxygen atom. It releases that extra atom into the blood, thereby creating a flood of oxygen. In addition, hydrogen peroxide increases oxygen and hemoglobin dissociation, thus maximizing the delivery of oxygen from the blood to the cells. This delivery of the oxygen to the cells and tissues is essential for creating the oxygen boost necessary to maintaining a healthy environment that is inhospitable to diseases. Um, the name of this book, I'll show you again, is called The 1 Minute Cure, The Secret to Healing Virtual All Diseases by Madison Cavanaugh. It has 116 pages in it. It is a soft book. Although the successful treatments were widely publicized, U.S. based physicians who tried to adopt the biooxidative therapies involving ozone and hydrogen peroxide were often harassed by local medical societies and threatened with the revocation of their medical license. As a result, hundreds of American patients flock to foreign physicians every year seeking biooxidative therapies, and sadly, an untold number of Americans who had neither heard of these therapies nor had the money to travel to foreign countries to seek treatment had to suffer needlessly or die of an untold number of diseases. Today, despite decades of clinical success, and biooxidative therapies are still considered experimental and not approved by the FDA. Over 6,100 articles in scientific literature attesting to the success of ozone and hydrogen peroxide therapy are presently in circulation, with an additional 50 to 100 scientific articles published each month about the chemical or biological effects of ozone and hydrogen peroxide. But still, a large portion of the medical community continues to overlook or purposely ignore this incredibly simple and inexpensive treatment option that could potentially solve the healthcare crisis. To date, although over 15,000 European doctors, naturopaths, and homeopaths are routinely administering medical ozone and hydrogen peroxide to millions of patients, there are fewer than 500 doctors in the U.S. who are courageously enough to use the biooxidative therapies in their practice. One reason for this is because information about medical ozone and hydrogen peroxide is deliberately excluded from the curriculum in medical schools. Furthermore, medical boards do not look favorably upon licensed physicians who use biooxidative therapists in their medical practice, and have been known to threaten doctors with a revocation of their license or even jail time if they administer hydrogen peroxide or ozone. The current application. Hydrogen peroxide therapy has an incredible number of applications. Alternative health practitioners, as well as researchers and doctors, have yet to find a disease that does not respond well to it. And when used properly, there are no known risks. The only people for whom hydrogen peroxide administration is not recommended are individuals who have undergone organ transplants. Hydrogen peroxide stimulates the immune system, and since the immune system attacks any foreign body that is different from what is normally present in the body, it identifies a transplanted organ as a foreign substance that needs to be eliminated. Therefore, there is a possibility that the organ could be rejected. In the previous section, 33 major diseases were identified that were successfully treated by ozone therapy, administered through blood infusion. The following tables offer an expanded list of diseases, bacteria, and fungi that are effectively treated by biooxidative therapy in general, including hydrogen peroxide. Hey, Missy Woody. The name of this book is called The 1 Minute Cure, The Secret to Healing Virtually All Diseases. All right. So I already read this, the list of the stuff of the diseases that they have over here. These are all cures, but I read it once more for those people that just came in, and I'm gonna start from the bottom and work my way to the top. Yeast infections, warts, viral infection, vascular headaches, vascular disease, ulcers, trichomonas, temporal arteritis, sore throat, sinusitis, shingles, rheumatoid arthritis, prostatitis, proctitis, periodontal disease, Parkinson disease, parasitic infections, open sores and wounds, multiple sclerosis, mononucleosis, migraine headaches, metastatic carcinoma, lymphoma, lupus, erythematosis, I messed it up, leukemia, leg ulcers, insect bites, influenza, HIV infections, herpes zoster, herpes simplex, herpes, hepatitis, headaches, gum disease, gingivitis, gangrene, fungus infection, food allergies, Epstein-Barr infection, emphysema, eczema, digestive problems, diabetic uh, retinopathy, diabetic gangrene, diabetes type 2, cystitis, COPD, colitis, cluster headaches, cirrhosis of the liver, chronic pain, high cholesterol, cerebrovascular disease, cardiovascular disease, candidiasis, cancer, burns, bronchitis, bacteria infections, asthma, arthritis, arteriosclerosis, arrhythmia, angina, anemia, Alzheimer's disease, altitude sickness, allergies, acne, and AIDS. Okay? Now, they also say it works on bacteria, but these are some words that I can't say, so I don't want to mess it up no worse than just looking at it, okay? Anyway, it says biooxidative therapy is also an effective treatment for various types of tumors, as well as viruses, including human immunodeficiency virus like HIV, cytomegalovirus, lymphocystic, all right, choriomeningitis virus, and Tacarib virus. I might have messed that up. Hydrogen peroxide. People who suffer from multiple sclerosis and other diseases that affect the nervous and immune systems also benefit from hydrogen peroxide therapy. Interferon drugs are often touted by medical practitioners as the best treatment option for neurological diseases, but they are expensive and are often administered through painful shots. They also come with a number of unpleasant side effects. Hydrogen peroxide therapy is an excellent option because its ability to strengthen the immune system as a result of the boost of oxygen supply in the body. Interestingly, the efficacy of interferon drugs come from the fact that they too work by raising the blood oxygen level. Therefore, one may find that hydrogen peroxide therapy delivers many of the same benefits as interferons without adverse side effects. Will hydrogen peroxide make periodontal surgery obsolete? Let's read. People who suffer from gum disease and other mouth problems often undergo painful surgery in hopes of easing discomfort and stopping the disease from progressing. Dr. Paul Cummins once taught gum surgery techniques at the University of North Carolina, but today he relies heavily on hydrogen peroxide therapy to achieve results never before achieved. After treating 1,000 patients with hydrogen peroxide therapy, he had a 98% success rate. Today, he is quick to report that hydrogen peroxide therapy is more effective than periodontal surgery, and that periodontal surgery is now rarely necessary. One patient in particular reported that she underwent gum surgery after struggling with periodontal disease for a number of years. Her doctor performed gum surgery on a quadrant of her mouth and recommended even more surgery. Because she couldn't face the pain and expense of additional surgery, she decided to try the hydrogen peroxide therapy. After using the therapy at home, she found that her gums returned to a healthy state. She no longer had pain or swelling, and her gums no longer bled or produced pus. The possibilities of hydrogen peroxide therapy in dentistry are exciting, and many dentists have begun to recognize that it is more beneficial than surgery. Simply brushing your teeth with a 3% hydrogen peroxide solution, and I will give y'all the the recipe in a few seconds. Not only prevents gum disease, but also whitens teeth and fight cavities. All right, so let's go to chapter 4 so I can give y'all the solution. All right. And sophisticated lady. All right. Now, in the previous chapter, ozone therapy has been described as being powerful in curing even the deadliest diseases, particularly AIDS. It's worthwhile noting that most of the benefits attributed to the administration of medical ozone can also be attributed to the administration of hydrogen peroxide as well. Since ozone is transformed into hydrogen peroxide in the body, the mechanism by which hostile microorganisms are eradicated by hydrogen peroxide is the same as the ozone blood infusion. Like ozone, hydrogen peroxide kills viruses and other pathogens by oxidation as it spreads through the tissue of the human body. At the same time, the oxygen boosts revitalized normal cells. Hydrogen peroxide is safe if used correctly, and best of all, its health benefits are accompanied by practically no known risk. All right, home use of hydrogen peroxide. Before you decide on how you plan to self-administer hydrogen peroxide therapy, it is critical that you understand the different grades of hydrogen peroxide available. The grades are as follows. 3% pharmaceutical grade. This is the hydrogen peroxide that's available at your local drugstore. It is for external use only and should not be ingested because it contains a number of stabilizers including acetanol, phenol, sodium stagnate, and tetrasodium phosphate. 6% is beautician grade. This hydrogen peroxide grade is used by hairstylists to bleach hair. It is not to be ingested because it contains stabilizer as well as bleach. 30% reagent grade. This has uses in a number of scientific experiments, but it contains stabilizers and is not for internal use. 30 to 32% electronic grade. This hydrogen peroxide is used to cleanse electronics and is not for internal use. 35% technical grade. This hydrogen peroxide is similar to reagent grade, but it is more concentrated and contains phosphorus and neutralized chlorine in the water that is added to dilute it. 35% food grade. This is the only grade of hydrogen peroxide recommended for internal use. 35% food grade. It is commonly used in the production of dairy products like milk and eggs. It is also sprayed onto the foil lining of products like juice and acts as an antiseptic. You can purchase this formula in pints, quarts, gallons, and drums. Contact your local alternative drugstore for more information on where to find 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide. There are also several sources you can find on the internet by typing the key phrase, 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide. This is an important note. The 35% strength needs to be diluted before being taken internally. Okay, I will read to y'all that as well. It says, see instructions below. It says 90%. This is used as a source of hydrogen in rocket fuel. So don't use 90% grade hydrogen peroxide. Only use the 35% food grade and make sure it says food grade. Now, internal use of hydrogen peroxide. If you plan to ingest hydrogen peroxide as part of your therapy, clearly you will want to use only the 35% food grade formula. At this strength, however, the product must be handled with care. It will burn your skin if you spill any, and it is flammable. Should it come in direct contact with your skin, flush it with water immediately. Under no circumstances should you ingest undiluted hydrogen peroxide, even a slightly over 10% strength. Hydrogen peroxide causes neurological damage. Be careful to dilute hydrogen peroxide properly. using the suggested protocol in the table below. Many people find that the most convenient way to dispense hydrogen peroxide is with a glass bottle by way of an eyedropper cap. Once you fill the glass bottle, label it 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide in order to prevent accidental undiluted use. Store the remaining hydrogen peroxide in the freezer, out of the reach of children. If you don't use all the hydrogen peroxide that is contained in the bottle with eyedropper cap, you can leave it in the refrigerator until you administer your next dose. The table on the previous page provides a suggested schedule for your hydrogen peroxide therapy. Each dose takes less than 1 minute to administer. Use only distilled water to dilute hydrogen peroxide. Do not use water that has been chlorinated. The drops should be diluted in 6 to 8 ounces of water. When you have completed the 23-day regimen, in the table gradually decrease the dosage by 1 drop a day until you get to the maintenance dose of 3 drops. Dilute in 6 to 8 ounces of distilled water 3 times a day. This suggested protocol is based on years of experience and success stories from thousands of users. Food grade hydrogen peroxide is very inexpensive, approximately $13 for a 16-ounce bottle. Therefore, the maintenance dose of 3 drops in water 3 times a day will cost only 1.5 cents per day, and the maximum dose of 25 drops in water 3 times a day will cost only 12 cents per day. If you have a serious condition, you may wish to try taking 25 drops 3 times a day for 1 to 3 weeks during the beginning portion of the maintenance phase, before tapering down to 25 drops 2 times a day for up to 6 months. Otherwise, you can reduce the maintenance schedule to between 5 to 15 drops based on how you are feeling. Hydrogen peroxide is not tasteless, so once you start adding more and more drops to your distilled water, you may discover that it tastes like bleach. Some people find it impossible to drink water containing 25 drops. Others find it like chewing sugar-free gum with no artificial flavors or sweeteners after drinking a solution solves the problem. If you find the taste unpleasant, try diluting the hydrogen peroxide with 6 to 8 ounces of milk, aloe vera, or watermelon juice instead of water. If you are still bothered by the bleachy aftertaste, cut down on the number of drops you put into each glass and increase the number of glasses you drink each day, or simply drink some water after you drink the oxygen water. In addition to diluted hydrogen peroxide with chlorine-free, preferably distilled water, it is important that you take it on an empty stomach. The best times are at least 1 hour before mealtime, or at least 3 hours after mealtime. Hydrogen peroxide will react with food's bacteria in your stomach, and the result is excess foaming, nausea, and possibly vomiting. If you become nauseated at a certain dosage level, keep taking that dose for a few days until you feel comfortable. Although it is not common, you may experience symptoms including nausea, fatigue, diarrhea, and cold or flu-like symptoms as your body attempts to expel large amounts of dead cells. This phase is what is referred to as the healing crisis, which is the body's reaction to the removal of disease-causing or toxic conditions. It doesn't happen in the majority of cases, but some may experience it, as well as a range of other minor symptoms. Do not stop your regimen if you experience these symptoms. You may be uncomfortable for a day or two, but it means the therapy is working. Although uncommon, you may find that your skin may break out for a few days or longer, or you may even develop boils or other types of skin inflammation. These symptoms mean that your body is working hard to get rid of toxins, and they will pass within a few days. Also, If you have certain viruses or bacteria in your stomach, like streptococcus, you might feel nauseous for the first few days of therapy. It is very important that you continue your hydrogen peroxide therapy. Do not discontinue use. If you experience bothersome symptoms, keep in mind that your body is ridding itself of disease and toxin, and you will begin to feel much better within a few days. If you want your drinking water to taste like fresh spring water, put 7 drops of 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide into a gallon of water and shake the bottle. You can keep this mixture in the refrigerator and drink it as much as you'd like. Now, let's go for the recipe, y'all. Let's go for the recipe. All right? This is the number of drops of 35 food grade H2O2 diluted into 6 ounces of water. I'm going to show y'all the picture, and then we're going to go back and read it, okay? And it tells you on the side how many days you do it. So, I don't know if y'all can see that. So on day 1, you take 3, and you do it for 3 days. Day 2, you're doing 4, and you're doing it for 3 days. Day 3, you're doing 5, and you're doing it for 3 days. You see the list all the way up till you get to what? The 23rd day. Okay? And on the 23rd day, you're doing 3. So it's 3 all the way. It says times a minute daily. Okay, so you're doing it 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. All right. So on day 23, you're going to do 25 drops. Wow. And that's three times a day. I think that's something I would like to try myself. All right. Let me see what else it got to say in here. So my assumption is that even if a person has any kind of kid, kidney stuff going on, because it did say that it did cure cirrhosis of the liver. So my assumption, and this is me thinking, because I haven't read it yet in the book, that it also cures people who have kidney issues. All right, because it goes in and it attacks whatever it is that's causing a dis-ease. All right, and in return, it leaves the good cells and get rid of the bad cells. Right? All right. All right. So you can you can buy an ozonator, probably on eBay. It's 11:44 on the clock, y'all. You probably can get it from eBay or Amazon, or you can go to a homeopathy or a naturopathic person that has the hookup, and they can either order for you, or they may have some in their office that you can just purchase. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna see what they cost on Amazon right quick. Okay, so all right, I see. So I'm gonna pull this back so I don't have to stretch so far. You're welcome. You're welcome. So let me see. All right. This one is good for liquids and food. Now, check this out, y'all. I don't know if y'all can see this, though. All right. Now, this one is $62. Let's see. You just have to read and make sure it's the one for water. This one is $75. There's one right there. Oh, that's for a hot tub, though. We're going to keep it going. Okay. They got them also for the air in your house. What that one say? That one says multi-purpose, negative ions, and timer for cleaning fruits. For cleaning fruits, huh? All right, but you're gonna have to do your research on them, okay? But make sure you get one that's good for water, right? You know, for your, yeah. But this one says air, ethereal. It's a portable ozone machine for liquid and air. I'm gonna tap on this one because this is interesting to me. Okay, it comes with a little tube that's connected to it. I'm gonna put this in my wish list. All right, so let's see. Hello, my beautiful sister Andrea, 54 Hector, and family. All right, so I clicked on the one that's $62, right? All right, we're gonna scroll it over. Okay, it comes with a hose, and I'm gonna scroll again. It says sterilize water and kill harmful bacteria. All right. Look how small it is. Sterilize baby toys, toothbrushes, and more. That's amazing. Okay. They have something called the bundles. It's a bundles with this item. So for $72 for additional $10, it comes with 4 hoses instead of just one. You may want to just do your research on this one. Now I see another one that's $39. I see $39.99, $39.99, and I'm not sure about this one. It's $29.99. They call it the Avation Multi-Purpose Ozone Sterilization. They have one for the dang. They got one for a swimming pool too. Going on. Yeah, you just want to make sure you just completely uh healthy. Now I see one that's they got a hydrogen water bottle, but it doesn't say ozone. Okay, and I think I would like to stick with whatever says ozone. Check out this one, y'all. This one is $47. All right, this one right here, the white one. I'm gonna tap on that one. All right, look at that. Okay, it says uh, machine generator for water and air. It's a multi-purpose ozone machine, odor remover, cleaner for home, kitchen, fruits and vegetables. Well, I don't know. We have to do some research on that bad baby. Yeah, I'm still looking at it. Okay. This is to clean your fruit and vegetables. Uh, it also makes the air much more tolerable in your house, make it clean and crisp. If you want to just you want to hang it on the wall in your room, you can do that too. So this one is a multi-purpose. It also says useful ozone water. So you know, hmm. Do your research, y'all. Do your research so you can know exactly which one to get. Okay. If you want the ozonator, and I think that's the one you just add that extra oxygen to your water. Now I don't know much about the hydrogen water bottles, which I was interested in it a while back. All right. This one is like $55 on Amazon, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, it says improves your sleep, your skin, hydration, anti-age, and easy to use and fast charging. This might not be what you're looking for, but you know. Yeah. All right. So hopefully I gave y'all enough information to get you interested in self help, self care. I didn't tell you about the intravenous injection of the hydrogen peroxide because I don't think nobody want to go get no shot. I don't think nobody want to get no shot. But anyway, I'll read the intravenous injection of hydrogen peroxide. Then I'm gonna let y'all. I'll let y'all go. Okay. But I thought this was pretty decent information to let people know. You know, there are other ways, to resolve the things that's going on. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't really care for taking medication. I mean, so they would look for an alternative to opposed to just going and taking pills, especially if you end up finding yourself you got to take them, every day, and they take it for the rest of your life. You ain't trying to hear that. I know it. So it says, oral ingestion of diluted hydrogen peroxide is not the only way H2O2 can be administered for therapeutic purposes. It can also be administered by a trained physician by way of intravenous injection. Much of the research and scientific literature extolling the benefits of hydrogen peroxide was derived from the studies involving intravenous injection. This form of biooxidative therapy has been used for the last several decades and was found to be effective in treating pneumonia as far back as the post-World War I days. Intravenous injections of hydrogen peroxide are regarded as being particularly convenient for health practitioners to recommend because they can be used in conjunction with almost any type of therapy used to treat disease, although they do need to be administered separately from other treatments. Intravenous injections of hydrogen peroxide work just like administration of the H2O2. That is, their mechanisms of action is based on giving tissues a healthy boost of oxygen. With intravenous injections, however, the oxygen is delivered directly into the bloodstream and also causes the body to produce oxygen in response to the oxygen peroxide. It is therefore a viable treatment option on its own. Intravenous injections of hydrogen peroxide have proven particularly useful in treating emphysema. Emphysema is most often caused by smoking, and it attacks the alveoli, the small air sac within the lungs. Currently, There is no widely recognized cure for the disease, and patients have only been able to find some relief from their symptoms through conventional medical techniques. Emphysema causes one's heart to work too hard to circulate blood, and death often ensues because of eventual heart failure. Although breathing difficulties of emphysema patients have been effectively relieved by running a vaporizer containing 1 ounce of food grade hydrogen peroxide in a gallon of water throughout the night, eliminating all the other drastic effects of emphysema has been a challenging task in this regard. Intravenous injections of hydrogen peroxide has become the choice therapy, yielding the most amazing results. When injected, the hydrogen peroxide goes to the diseased area of the lungs and begins to bubble between the layer of mucus and the lining of the lungs. The patient coughs up the mucus as the doctor regulates the amount of hydrogen peroxide that is administered intravenously. Many patients have reported that intravenous injections have improved their breathing so much that they no longer need oxygen tanks and wheelchairs. To find a physician trained to administer intravenous injections of hydrogen peroxide, contact the International Biooxidative Medicine Foundation, abbreviated as IBOM, at P.O. Box 61767, Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas 75261. All right. Now, they say making a 3% hydrogen peroxide solution. There are times when it would be convenient for you to keep a 3% strength food grade hydrogen peroxide on hand, because at this strength it has many uses that produces countless benefits in addition to the benefits that are derived from the dosing regimen prescribed earlier. This should not be confused with the 3% hydrogen peroxide that you can find at your local drugstore, because that's pharmaceutical grade. It is for external use only and should not be ingested. In order to make a 3% solution that can be ingested, you must start with a 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide and dilute it according to the way it will be used. To start, pour 1 ounce of 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide into a pint jar and add 11 ounces of distilled water. This will yield 12 ounces of 3% hydrogen peroxide. Make sure you label it 3% food grade hydrogen peroxide to distinguish it from the 35%. You can use this diluted solution in a variety of ways, and you may find it convenient to store the unused portion in the refrigerator. If you wish to ingest hydrogen peroxide, you will need to dilute the solution further. However, absorbing 3% hydrogen peroxide through the mucous membranes and lungs and the skin produces many remarkable benefits. The list below, although far from being exhaustive, provides some of the external uses for the 3% hydrogen peroxide. Gum and teeth. Okay? 3% hydrogen peroxide solution can be used at full strength as a mouthwash, or it can be mixed with baking soda for use as toothpaste to fight cavities and gum disease. In addition to whitening teeth, in fact, the popular teeth whitening products on the market are effective because of their hydrogen peroxide content. The advanced action employed by the expensive ampoule-based teeth whitening system can be duplicated at home by dipping cotton swabs into the 3% hydrogen peroxide solution and using them to gently target specific teeth. This safely whitens natural teeth optimally and safely lifts stains from porcelain crowns and veneer. You can do this twice a day, preferably after brushing your teeth. Do not rinse the hydrogen peroxide out after applying it with the cotton swabs, and do not drink or eat for 20 minutes after application. so as not to hinder the optimal contact time. 3 tablespoons of 3% hydrogen peroxide solution in a quart of chlorine-free, preferably distilled water, can be used as an enema or douche, which will ward off bad bacteria. It will kill anaerobic bacteria in the rectum and colon, and bacteria infections and yeast in the vagina. Hydrogen peroxide can also be used at 3% strength or diluted with warm water as a foot soak for athlete feet and diabetes related ailments. Absorbing hydrogen peroxide through the skin. A particular simple way to absorb hydrogen peroxide through your skin is to bathe in it. Try adding 1 to 8 pints of the 3% solution to a bathtub full of warm water. The water will cause your pores to open, allowing your body to absorb some of the hydrogen peroxide. You may not wish to try this method close to bedtime, however, because the boost of oxygen may energize and keep you awake. Some people have used hydrogen peroxide baths to rid themselves of boils, fungus, and other skin infections. Other people have also used a pint of 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide in tub water instead of 1 to 8 pints of 3% solution, and have reported a host of other benefits, including prematurely gray hair returning to its original color. A foot bath using full strength 3% hydrogen peroxide has been used as an effective treatment for athlete feet. Diabetics have been relieved of circulation problems by soaking their feet for a half an hour in foot bath consisting of 1 pint of 3% hydrogen peroxide and a gallon of warm water. Another topical use of 3% hydrogen peroxide, in addition to its common use as an antiseptic for cuts and wounds, is as a remedy of acne and a variety of other skin conditions. Applying 3% hydrogen peroxide full strength to an affected area once or twice a day with a cotton ball or swab has shown surprisingly rapid results. There's also an inhalation method here. Amen, Missy Woody. The inhalation method. One of the popular and convenient methods for absorbing 3% hydrogen peroxide solution is known as nasal spray pump or spray bottle. You can purchase a nasal spray bottle at a medical supply or beauty supply store as an alternative. You can buy a product contained in a nasal spray at your local drugstore, empty the bottle contents, wash it thoroughly with soap and water, and fill it with the 3% hydrogen peroxide solution. Pump the spray bottle nasal spray Pump the spray bottle nasal spray pump into your mouth 5 to 10 times while inhaling. The mist goes deeply into your lungs. Repeat this twice in the morning and twice at night. If you have been feeling sick, administer the procedure every 4 to 6 hours. If you have a virus, use the spray every 2 hours. Usually the virus will be gone within 36 to 48 hours, depending on the severity. If you have had a virus for a while, you may find that it takes a week or longer for the treatment to take effect. Although the amount of hydrogen peroxide administered by way of a spray nasal bottle or spray pump method is minute. It is very effective in alleviating numerous conditions. Countless people have claimed that this method has drastically improved their quality of life by getting rid of ailments ranging from colds to melanoma to stiff muscles. One person reported having cured prostate cancer in a month, and another reported that a happy side effect of using hydrogen peroxide nasal spray, it has improved self-esteem. This is not hard to believe since a boost of oxygen often makes people feel energized. Some even find that they must use it during the day because spraying close to bedtime makes them too awake and alert to go to sleep. An effective way to administer hydrogen peroxide to the lungs is to aid it with a vaporizer or a humidifier. Many people find that adding 15 ounces of 3% hydrogen peroxide to 1 gallon of water in a vaporizer that is run all night drastically improves their breathing and wards off colds and flu. Some people even note that they no longer snore. All right, guys. I hope I gave y'all something to chew on. All right, take control of your life. Take back your health. Awesome. Andrea 54, did you take notes? I know there's another person, Phoenix Rising. You still here, girlfriend? Okay. Well, I tell y'all what, I am getting a little weepy. My day gonna start, Lord say the same, before the chickens come up or something like that. Yes, 35% food grade, nothing less. 35% food grade. Now I'm gonna tell you, I think about a year or two ago, I went on Amazon trying to find it, and I couldn't. But there's a strong possibility that it's on there now, because when stuff is in demand, then people then they start to find it. So before I get off the internet, I mean before I get off of YouTube, let me see if I can find um 35%. Let's see, 35%. Well, I guess so. Here it is. Okay. They got an 8-ounce bottle. It looks like it started like they got a $13 bottle. Well, look, let me show y'all what it looks like. All right, this is what I found on Amazon. Okay. All right, y'all. I had a moth just come to my face and try to land on my nose. Okay, that's what it looks like. Okay, that's the 3%. So that one already diluted, but you still would have to dilute it again, right? Okay. But make sure you just get the food grade, y'all. Only the food grade. Okay. Now I am not being promoted. I am not advertising for no particular company. And I am not getting no kind of a compensation for this here. I just felt in my spirit that this was something that I needed to share. Okay? So I don't want nobody to think that I'm promoting something for another company. No. I'm just saying, this was some knowledge that I felt that needed to be um, shared with the public, because there are a lot of people out there that have said, "Oh, I can't use that, or don't use that because this, that, and other." And the reason that they had any adverse reactions because they didn't do it properly. As you see, they say, "Do not eat. Take it on an empty stomach and wait an hour later, then eat." Correct? The people that more likely that tried this here and put out comments in a negative way pertaining to 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide most likely ate and did not wait. Okay, and they ended up starting to develop that extra foam in their mouth, or having even some vomiting. So be sure to do it exactly the way they say so you can get the most benefits out of it. And I too will be trying it out. Can't tell you exactly when, but I will be trying it out because I want to see what are the benefits as well. All right, guys, don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe, and comment. Comment, comment, comment. I love to read y'all comments. All right, like I always say, get in where you fit in. All right, if you didn't find nothing in this video that was exciting, interesting, stimulating to the mind, okay, or the body, check out another video, and I'll see you there too. All right, shout out to everybody in the background, those that's watching that did not hit the like button, and those that are just cruising by. I love each and every one of you. I look forward to coming back doing another video just for you. All right, y'all have an amazing night, and I hope you had a awesome Friday the 13th. Okay. Yeah, I remember when I was much younger, everybody thought that the Friday the 13th was bad luck day. Nobody wanted to go out and play. They didn't want to do anything at all. Everybody was afraid. If they saw a black cat, everybody turned around and went the other way. Oh, baby, yeah. But as you get older and you learn some things, you find out that all of those superstitions were just exactly just that. Because Friday the 13th is not a bad day. It's a day of good luck. Okay, so I will try to leave this video over here to in a public setting, maybe for about 3 days, and come Monday, Lord say the same, it'll be over in the members section. All right, but I just wanted to make sure that I followed what was in my spirit. I was led by the spirit to do this, so I thank God that I was able and I did. And I did not make too many mistakes. Yay, yay. All right, guys. I don't think I'm going to edit this. Who knows? But I love you. See y'all soon. Good night, Missy Woody. Awesome. That's some good news. That's good to know. I hope some more people had a good day. Many people. All right? Yeah. All right. I shout out to my best people, all of my moderators, and those that are very close to me. You know who you are. Wink, wink. Good night.